So it's in the Banfield footage. So I'll write it down while this video is playing. I'll try to find it. All right, so this is True Crime Web, and just to reiterate what I was saying before, he is a real detective, a real retired detective, and this experiment, Daniel from the Drunk Turkey Show asked him to do this experiment. I saw it on their live stream, and then I went to his channel this morning, and he had actually made it into a video. So I'm going to play the intro, and then I'll skip to it. It starts, it's a long segment, but you'll get the gist of it after like the first 5 minutes we watch this.
Not only do we cover true crime, I go out into the field and assist families who have lost loved ones to homicide and their cases are considered cold. Join me as we look and bring attention to these critical cases. Hello, everyone. I'm glad you're able to join us tonight. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And as always, as you come into our channel, be respectful of the families, mods, and each other. We'll have a presentation, and during that presentation, if you have any questions, just throw them in chat there. Mrs. Steve, of course, is not able to sit here with me tonight, and that will, after we get everything settled up and get back into a single property, we'll be able to do that. Right now, we're working out of 2 different states, and eventually we'll be in Florida totally, and I look forward to that. And but this week I'm traveling, enhancing of the photographs so that y'all can better understand what can be left at these. Let's get in here, and of course, last year Mrs. Steve and I we set up a boardwalk type of situation of whereas she would be walking in this pattern, that I would introduce into this area a passive pool of synthetic blood, and she would step in it, walk this path, and it came out to be 120 to 140 feet total. But there are certain areas that as you walk and as you add on, it's just over 120 feet. I think some of the images I took are over, I think it's like at 130. But anyway, you'll see that as we go into it. But I wanted to see how long that if an individual, and Mrs. Steve was wearing a pair of Van shoes, as what was described, having a similar sole characteristics as that line of shoes. But she wore them, and she stepped in that passive pool of synthetic blood and began her walk. And through that walk, we were able to see from the moment of saturation, and as she walked, and the transfers that occurred. And there's a point during those transfers that you go from a oversaturated type of print to where it's well defined. And with the recent test that I did with that for Daniel, and looking at from the point of what if the offender was wearing a pair of booties or shoe covers, and what would that have? What kind of impact would that have on the shoe print? Which was a good question. While I had put booties on, I had taken them off, or the shoe covers off in other testing, and so I didn't know what the real results or what the findings would be, or how it would differ. And so I took that test and this test, and you'll see some of the similarities. And when you go back and review it, you'll look at certain parts of it, and you'll see that it's uncanny about some of the information, that it doesn't matter if that shoe is just straight without any type of protective booty or shoe cover. And when you put the shoe cover on, that at a certain point, the shoe cover becomes useless. Didn't know that until I conducted these tests, and it was quite fascinating. But here is, you can see from where the passive pool is, and then you can see the tracks of the shoes as Mrs. Steve started her walk. And you see the heavy saturations of those first few feet from 1 foot to 2 foot, 3 foot, 6 foot, and those distances of that oversaturation as she started down that boardwalk. And then we went all the way out with Mrs. Steve walking this, and at 40 feet, you see that there's really not that much. Around 40 feet, we start getting a little bit clearer, almost disappearing, almost latent print that you can't see at the 40 feet mark. You have a left foot and right foot in this image. And also, when Mrs. Steve came back around to the 120 feet location, you can see just a little bit of smudges. Now that changes once we enhance these with the chemical processing. Would it have worked with amido black? Yes. Would it work with the luminol? And the reason I don't use a lot of amido black in my testing on this is with the synthetic blood, the amido black doesn't react in the same manner that luminol does. And so that's one of the reasons I don't use a lot of amido black. But here's what you see, that once you hit with luminol, that those images from the 40 foot gives an absolutely well-defined characteristics of the sole pattern, and you can identify, and this is what they saw and what they described in that probable cause affidavit as far as being a van sole pattern of that type of pattern. And you can see also that both prints are almost latent. I mean, you can see on the 40 foot on the left side before the chemicals or luminol was applied in a darkened area, you can see that you can just barely see the outline of the shoe at the 40 feet. At the 132, it's clearly not able to be seen or determine any characteristics about that sole pattern. But you can see that when the chemicals are hooked on there, that absolutely it'll still pop out. While it doesn't have all the characteristics and clear definition that you see in the 40 feet, you could still tell probably shoe size, shoe width, if there were certain.
Sorry, I have to add myself to the stage. I just wanted to respond to this comment. It says, this explains the latent print in front of Dylan's door. So the other thing that this detective was saying, so I would assume he knows how they write up these police reports too. He was saying that there probably were other prints, but they used that one latent print to corroborate what Dylan was saying. And she probably said other things too, but he was paraphrasing a part of what she said, corroborated with the shoe print. Again, maybe playing their cards very close, knowing that they're dealing with a really smart person.
Damages done to the sole of the shoe, you might be able to identify them. Whereas with the 40 feet, you could clearly identify a lot of individualized characteristics or damage that might have occurred to that shoe wear pattern from an offender wearing it throughout their daily activities, and which is very important in a lot of cases. It's just like being able to take a tire track from a crime scene that has certain damage to the tread design. It works the same with shoes. And so experts are out there that can go in there, analyze these patterns, these characteristics, identify flaws or identify some type of wear pattern that individualizes that shoe to a certain person that law enforcement locates it. Now, if law enforcement doesn't locate a shoe that was seen at a crime scene and they don't have it in hand, it's been destroyed along with any type of other clothing cover or countermeasures to conceal someone's identity, then of course that's just something. But maybe in the future, if those items are found, as in this case, right now we don't know where a lot of these items could be. Law enforcement may have a better understanding, and at some point they may locate these. And if so, that will be extremely interesting. All right, before we get into that, let me try to keep up with chat. Hello, Di, Mitzi, Olivia, too, Copper Horse. All right, if you have any questions, throw them in there, and I will try to look at the mistakes made. Either it's going to be through. Hello, Madison. Good to see you. Let's see. Trying to see if there's any questions. I don't like to miss too many questions.
I don't know why it looks like this, but this is the
I hope I don't.
simulation he did.
Sharinthia. That's a wonderful name, Sharinthia Newman. Very nice of you. Thank you. I hope I didn't butcher your name too bad. I've got the Newman part, but I expect that there is DNA there, but finding it—that's the part. And I believe that there is more than likely a high percentage, well, higher than what has been found. Anything's higher than what's been found. But other than that, we have that one DNA profile off the knife. But I expect that on the victims somewheres that there will be some other DNA. They just haven't located it yet, or they may have, and we're just unaware of it. Yes, Josh. Law enforcement, they can pick and choose any part of any pieces of evidence. It's just probable cause. They're not going to lay out the whole case. They're not going to say that, just like if an individual has been shot with a firearm and they take a bullet out, that he was shot, bullet was recovered from the victim, and doesn't mean that the victim was only shot one time. They could be 12 gunshots in it, and they've recovered one. It's just in the usage and the verbiage within these documents that allows certain speculation, and sometimes people take it to the extremes. I expect that they have several other shoe prints, maybe not dozens. Now, do I think there's probably dozens of shoe prints in there? Yes, but of identifiable ones, probably not. Junior Johnson. Mr. D, is it true most people make 3 mistakes in a crime scene? I would say that's probably as few mistakes are made in a crime scenes, and because unorganized offenders make far more mistakes than organized offenders. But at the end of the day, whenever justice is served for any of these individuals, this crime or any other crime, when you go back and look at the mistakes made, either it's going to be through the digital footprint, all the tracking abilities of a vehicle, times that you're caught on cameras from all the different streets and homes and rings, to turning off your phone on one side of of the crime scene and then turning it on a distance on the other side of the crime scene. Anything and everything that when you go back and look at it and you see it afterwards, you'll see that the 3 is probably going to turn into 53 or 103 mistakes. And but once we see the prosecution bringing their narrative and evidence into the case, and then seeing can the defense explain away that narrative and all those pieces of evidence and those mistakes, because those mistakes are often exactly the evidence that convicts them. And so if you replace the word mistakes with evidence, then that's when you see that, oh, every piece of evidence left there is a mistake that the offender didn't want to leave there. Junior Johnson. Yeah, the shoe cover booties. Yes.
Okay, I am stopping this. We're going to go to the Banfield. We're going to look at something on the Banfield really quick. We're going to look at the Banfield and then Linda Lane, but I'm not giving up on this. This wasn't what I wanted to show you. His footage is like a lot better on Drunk Turkey's channel. So I just found that. And then I do have the Banfield footage, and I was told to use JLRs because it's unedited. So we're going to. All right. So we're just going to check this out another way, another experiment, which is the one Daniel had him do.
Animal blood, but now that's not the case.
Actually, not that I'm on a first name basis with Daniel or anything. I'm just trying to make,
the synthetic blood and work, and and it has the same luminol effect, and as far as giving the same results.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So these are I'm assuming a mock-up of the booties on the shoes.
Yep. All I did was take a pair of my shoes, put the booties on, and set them to the side and prep for the case to show not only that how easy it is to just slip them on your feet, but also to have you a kit ready to, if you was trying to hide or distort or keep your shoes or DNA away from the scene. Because your home environment is on the bottom of your shoes. When you go to another crime scene, where you left from your vehicle, from your wherever you go, from your work environment, you carry that. That's Lacard's principle. Every time you go in an environment, you take something you leave with from every environment you're in. And the shoes are that. And so this would be a way that you may attempt to limit your home environment from a crime scene.
Interesting.
And that's what it looks like, or your booties are, that if you put these on in a semi-clean environment that's not exposed to your normal home or to your vehicle, that if you put them on, like I said, it would limit certain transfers.
Yeah.
What?
Now you're saying, so the purpose of this as well is to limit the.
Is that, I don't know if that's a joke or not, or did JLR like really find footage in the trash can? Comments?
The possibility of transferring anything that you have of yourself on your shoes onto the on the crime scene.
Your cat hair, dog hair, whatever's in your home. I mean, there's a lot of different, if you have certain jobs or work that you may have on your floor that you haven't swept up, that links you to your jobs. I mean, there's a lot of reasons that this type of activity could be pre-planned and set up so that he would limit his that cross, or the Lacard's principle of identifying him from his home.
Got you. So this is I'm assuming the
prep
before.
Yeah, this is the pre or the setup, so that I had two sections I was going to do and walk around so that I could show you the from the moment that the saturation of stepping into the passive pool with those shoes and just walking in a counterclockwise circle for the first. I think I walked the first time for right at 5 minutes. Then I stopped and stood for a minute. Then I started walking again for the next 6 or 7 minutes, and stopped again for a minute, and then finished out my 15-minute walk, and then transitioned to the clean board, which is straight away from you. But by that time, that 15 minutes, it had gotten to the point that there wasn't any transfers.
Gotcha. So 15 minutes and no transfers after that.
Pause this.
Interesting.
Nevada, I think that's really a really good guess. I keep thinking, like, where would he have actually done the placement of this? Because I still put a little bit of possibility that story about the naked man could be true. he could have ran naked with a kill kit in one hand around the house, through the sliding glass door, around the house, up the hill, the high side of the house, and Bethany could have seen him throughout that window. But right outside the sliding glass door would be a perfect place, because as he's taking that stuff off, he could be shedding DNA. So if he did it right outside the sliding glass door, that would prevent it. He couldn't have done it. He couldn't have done it farther from the house, because he would have had his clothes on. And Papa Roger's statement says they probably found blood droppings on the high side of the house. So I don't know if he could have been clothed at that time. He could have done it right by his car, but all sorts of things. But I think that might be the most probable thing. I don't think he could have necessarily did it in the house without leaving trace evidence.
So this is after the test, I believe.
Yes, and like I said, as when you watch the video, you'll see the heavy, or you'll see certain images that are heavily saturated, unidentifiable, and then you start seeing where they become more identifiable and fainter, and then some of those faint ones, as we go through the slideshow, you'll see that when I treated them with luminol, while you may not see a footprint, it's there, and I have an example of that.
So this is the next one. See, this is what I would have thought we would have seen
Yes, that
with
top
Booties, the top one completely.
And you do see it for about the first 30 feet, but then it goes away.
30 feet. Huh. Now, this house wasn't very big.
Yeah. So
I wonder if, I'm pretty sure they had other ones. Now, do you think that they could tell the size of the shoe?
Oh, yes. If I just didn't put the rule in here with this, but yes, you would be able to, even with the saturated one, whereas the one that's heavily saturated up there, you can see where the pointed shoe cover goes out. It has a little, it's unnatural curvature that you wouldn't expect on a shoe, which would be an indicator that this individual is wearing booties.
That we kind of get the point.
You see, if you
pause it right here. So I want to tell you where you can find these videos if you want to do more of a deep dive on this. So the two channels that are featuring this, it was the Drunk Turkey Show. That's Daniel in the bottom left-hand corner from Drunk Turkey Show. He asked this detective to do this experiment for him. And the detective you're watching is from True Crime Web, and I highly recommend you check out his channel. He is just, he's a absolute professional. He's completely emotionally detached from anything except just police work and showing his detective skills. Yep, and at 30 feet, that's what it would look like. It was a good experiment, really thoughtful. All right, so let's look at, we're moving on to so now we're talking in the live chat. We've been talking about the Banfield, and one of the questions that, oh my God, one of the questions that was coming up was, what was that chiming at 3 a.m. on the Banfield? And then the discussion moved to those chimes at 3 a.m. were heard at Linda Lane, but it was off by a couple minutes. Which, I mean, I don't know how detailed I can get in this right now, but let's at least go. I was told to check out JLR's footage because it's unedited, so we're going to do that. Okay. Here we go. I've never seen this.
Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates. I'm going to share with everyone the unedited version of the 11/13/2022 police body cam surveillance in Moscow, Idaho, right by the Banfield, Sigma Chi, that incident that happened around 3 a.m. that early morning. The body cam got released already, and there has been many media outlets that have released this body cam footage, but they released the edited version. And I'm going to release to you the unedited version. The unedited version shows faces of who the police had encounter of. So this will be able to provide more insight, maybe some, bring awareness. Maybe you might get something out of this. You get to see facial reactions, get to see these people up close and personal. These were the people around the home, the Moscow home, when these stabbings occurred. And I'm talking about the stabbings where 4 college students were brutally stabbed during the early morning hours. Police gave some younger men citations for carrying alcohol and interacted with them. And I'm going to share the body cam footage with you now, and then we will discuss. Check it out.
Hey guys, Moscow PD. Come over here, talk to me. Moscow PD. Hey, is that beer?
What's up?
Is that beer in your hand?
Yeah, I'm 21.
You got the ID on you?
I don't.
Okay.
I'll take it back to my apartment if you need.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Huh? No, they just took off. I told them to stop it. I'm not going to push it.
Hey, Moscow, please.
Yeah, you got your ID on you?
I don't.
Okay. I'm going to grab your info just because you got beer and you're walking around with it.
No, it's closed. But
Okay.
sorry.
No, you're good.
I live like right there. I'll take it back if you need.
No, we're just doing alcohol enforcement and running around with beer across the street.
No worries. Sorry about that.
You're good. What's your last name?
CHI
CHI
KH
KH.
space
Yep.
ALI.
ALI.
Yep.
Okay. First name?
Said, SAID, like I said.
AID. Middle initial?
I don't have one.
Okay. Date of birth?
2001.
How'd you pull that one off? That's an awesome birthday.
Yeah, lucky birthday.
You got a driver's license?
I don't have it.
What? No, in general.
I do
Yeah.
have one, yeah.
What state is it through?
Idaho.
Idaho. Okay. Perfect. I'm just going to check if everything's good. Since they're not open, I'll let you hang on to them.
Okay.
So-
Will I get charged with anything?
No,
or-
no.
Okay. Appreciate
But
it.
it's just enough for me to stop, check, make sure you're 21,
No worries.
walking
Yeah,
around
I
here in
get it.
public.
Alrighty.
Moscow 77, check one. What's that?
Am I going to take off here?
No, let me run this through dispatch, make sure you're actually 21 and give me a fake birthday or anything. Going to be a 2-part last. Charles Henry Ida, King Henry, space, Adam Lincoln Ida. First of Said, Sam Ida. Correction, Sam Adam Ida, David. No middle. 2001, male through Idaho. Well, yeah.
I won't let it. It's funny.
Yeah,
Hey, guys,
I
I'm
think
not
that's the first one I've seen. One.
Yeah.
So if that comes back good, yeah, you're free to go. Are these your boys?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just hang on there. Yeah, let wait till dispatch comes back
Gotcha.
and says you're good.
All right, no worries.
You guys taking off on me?
I didn't hear you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry
we thought
about
you were
that.
talking.
You all three turned around and I pointed my flashlight. You said, "Hey, come here." You guys all turned around and walked away.
I thought it was just like a fake person, honestly. Yeah, like
How many fake people are out here that you've experienced?
Or something. Someone trying to flex us.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, got it.
How's your night going?
Pretty good.
That's good.
Just trying to stay warm.
Is that y'all's car right there?
Correction, Sam Adam Ida, David.
It's funny.
David. No middle. 2001, male through Idaho. Well, yeah.
I won't let it. It's funny.
Yeah, I think that's the first one I've seen.
Yeah.
One. So if that comes back good, yeah, you're free to go. Are these your boys?
No, I don't know them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just hang on there. Yeah, let wait till dispatch comes back and says you're good.
All right, no worries.
You guys taking off on me?
I didn't hear you.
Yeah,
I'm
we
sorry
thought
about
you were
that.
talking.
You all three turned around and I pointed my flashlight. You said, "Hey, come here." You guys all turned around and walked away.
I thought it was just like a fake person, honestly. Yeah, like
How many fake people are out here that you've experienced?
Or something. Someone trying to flex us.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, got it.
How's your night going?
Pretty good.
That's good.
Just trying to stay warm.
Is that y'all's car right there?
Yeah.
Undercover.
Well, just trying to save gas. They downgraded us from patrol cars.
Gotcha.
They gave us hybrids to save on fuel.
There you go.
Smart move.
Yeah. All right. Once dispatch lets me know that actually exists, I'll catch you loose. All right.
No worries.
You guys over at which department did y'all come from?
I don't know. I was at a friend's house.
I couldn't tell you the numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know the person hosting the party?
Some guy named Matt, I think.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know.
In the middle. What's your first name?
Ethan.
ETHAN. No initial.
Samuel.
It is cool.
Mike. KN. Yep. Good look.
May 13, 2000.
License for Idaho or a different state?
Okay, while they're giving their name and birth date. So the
Pick one more.
3 bells,
925 40.
I was just reading the live chat, sorry. The 3 bells happen at 3 a.m. So
Are they running my name or?
we're coming up on that.
Just it's a busy night, so dispatch has to get through all the things, and then they'll check in and advise.
YOOR?
Yeah.
No initial?
Yeah.
Last name.
Parkhill, P-A-R-K.
Good grief.
P-A-R-K-H-I-L.
Careful with your ID on your phone or anything like that,
HA.
because then I can just check and call good.
I got a photo of it.
You do?
Date of birth?
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's not it. Hold on.
Whoa, what's that?
License in Idaho or different
Wait,
state?
hold on, let me back up a second.
Careful with your ID on your phone or anything like that,
HA.
because then I can just check and call good.
I got a photo of it.
You do?
Date of birth?
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's not it. Hold on.
What are we
License
looking
in
at?
Idaho or different state?
Idaho.
Good phone number?
208 590 8111.
8111.
973 508.
Cool. You're good to go. All right. Thanks, man.
508 5111.
Yeah.
How much you guys all have to drink tonight?
Couple beers.
Beers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hard liquor, anything like that?
No. No.
Come on, guys. Stumbling down the driveway like
Okay, so here's the problem, is that if it's 2 or 3 minutes before 3, we have a small issue, which is I can't let it play while they're giving their name and birth dates and addresses out. It's just, I'll have to go back and figure out exactly what it is and then play it then, because I can only play after that. Yeah, so if it's before 3 a.m., we just heard all of that, and I can't play anything that I didn't play just then. Let's play it past 3 and see if we hear it. And
that. That's more than a couple beers.
To be honest, I haven't drinking anything in like a month and a half,
Yeah.
so kind of got drinking for
But it's more than a couple beers.
6 at most.
What about you?
8.
Yeah. That's more accurate of an answer, I think. 2 is, yeah, it's a little low.
Oh,
So 6 to 8 for all of you?
Probably, yeah.
Some more shots?
No shots.
Okay. What kind of beer?
Bush Light.
Bush Light?
yeah, I didn't use natural light.
All right. Let's try one more time. Was it really 6 to 8 or was it a little more than that?
16.
Okay.
Well, 9 for me, okay.
$59.77. Are you gonna be issuing?
I mean, I only heard the first kid ask, and he's like, "Oh yeah, undercover," and the guy's like, "No, they're just trying to save money." But I don't recall the other 2 kids asking. But I've never really done a deep dive on this footage, so I'll take a look because I want to see if I can find those bells and then locate them on the Linda Lane bells, and then maybe I'll bring. I want to get Gia back, and Gia, if you're watching, call me. So the Linda Lane being off makes no difference to the body cam footage. No, not at all. I mean, but here's where it would make a difference. People have talked about lining all of those videos up so that the ones that they do have with the timestamps. So like certain cars that were circling, and if you did that, then you'd know more precise times, like when you hear what was maybe allegedly a scream or a dog bark or a trunk slamming. If you have that kind of, you could line you'd have an easier time lining those videos up and more of a possibility. I didn't hear dispatch. I did turn it down quite a bit. Oh, I knew what you meant. Dirty. Yeah, I only heard Saeed saying it. Okay. Yeah, so hold on a second. Well, thank you for joining me today. I know you could be anywhere today during this lunch break, so I'm glad you spent your time with me. And thank you so much. Justice for the IDAHO4. See you at the next live stream.